We're rolling.
Hey, bro. What's your channel called? Brown Beans?
Frankenbeans?
Welcome to episode 3.
We should do Frankenbeans. And we could also talk about hot dogs. Hot dogs and coffee.
That's a niche that hasn't been filled yet, I bet.
No, never heard of it. Okay, what do we have here? This is a cortado. And I got a flat white, which I've already spilled all over my saucer. So it's...
It was 10 ounces, now it's 9.
Yeah. And Luke has a macchiato.
Macchiato. I feel very
Delicate?
European with this size cup. It seems like a European thing.
So macchiato is Italian. It's an Italian word, and it means like a spot. So that's why it's supposed to be just a spot of like white foam, like milk foam.
So that picture isn't necessarily a picture?
That's not a picture.
Kind of looks like an apple.
That's not an apple, although this is fall.
That was my guess. Yes.
See, and I've spilled the coffee all over my saucer. And my cortado.
So is this like a shot of espresso with a dash of foam?
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's going to be pretty strong for your palate, I bet.
I like it.
Yeah.
So, macchiato. Do you know the name origin?
It's Italian.
Like what it means?
Yes.
The spot?
Spot. That's, I don't know if it means exactly spot, but it's like a stain, like a marked spot.
The way you're supposed to like hold them, still with the handle, my finger doesn't even fit in it.
Yeah.
So maybe like that.
Well, you certainly don't need to hold that with 2 hands. It's not that large.
So, but this is like something that they were like sick, like take their time with.
Yeah. Well, it's not
like a shot.
No, it's not a shot. Yeah, they would. I think they would drink it in multiple sips.
Yeah. I imagine like you said, like a Parisian cafe, like taking the time while I watch people walk by.
Yeah. I think this guy messed up this latte art too. Another swirl.
That's potent.
Yeah, because it's just a shot of espresso and you barely even touch the milk, so there's going to be like zero sweetness to it.
Yeah, I like it. I feel like a coffee connoisseur when the taste is different.
A macchiato I think it's a good drink.
Ugh. Why does it feel like we're in pain when we experience these drinks?
So, these smaller drinks though, like a cortado and a macchiato, I think they allow for you get a better flavor, a sense of flavor of the actual coffee because there's less milk.
There's less interference to the flavor and between the bean and your taste buds. You know, I was trying to remember, you used to be a tea guy. Do you remember what turned you on to coffee?
Nothing. Still not really turned on by coffee. I still drink tea every morning.
Really?
Yeah.
So you took like a coffee course.
Yeah.
What?
A barista course.
Yeah. What was the impetus behind that?
I knew you were going to say impetus.
Were you already thinking the cafe?
Yeah.
Okay. So it was like in preparation for that.
In preparation of a cafe.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I like taking those sips.
I also like the experience of just learning too, though. So it was a fun course just to go through and learn a little bit about the origin of coffee and how it came to what it is now, and different flavor profiles and how they sample beans and yeah.
So that was my other question, because I feel like for a lot of things, like you can, like you took a pretty intense course.
Yeah.
like something like that, do you feel like you learn like a huge chunk of what's available information-wise? I mean, obviously now you know way more than the average person, but people that are like coffee experts,
No,
How?
they're
what do they know that you don't? Do they just know more kinds of drinks? They know more about like the preparation. They know more about like where the beans are sourced. I mean, what?
all of it.
Yeah. What are the next levels of understanding it?
I think the flavor profiles of different regions, and I mean, once you know how to make a certain drink, I think once you understand that, that's pretty basic. But I think it comes down more to the beans and maybe the flavors and picking up on different notes. So I don't really have the ability to do that, I don't think, or it's not refined to the point where I even know really what I'm tasting.
The more you talk about it, and I don't know about anything about this either, it sounds very similar to like the way people talk about like wine
Yeah.
or whatnot. So like the palate thing, is that really something you learn, or is it something like you think some people have and some people don't?
No, I think you learn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it can get pretty scientific too. Like there's a flavor wheel.
Right.
Yeah, which will tell you like which notes you're picking up on and like what categories those are in. Yeah. It ends up being, it's like with anything, right? It can be as high level or like in the weeds as you want.
Yeah.
So
But you feel the more you know, the more enjoyable the experience is? Is that the idea?
I think so, yeah, because then you know what you're tasting, you know where it came from, the process that's involved in making something like this.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the pizza course.
Yeah.
Making pizza is a lot more scientific than what I had originally thought. You you go somewhere, you pick up a pizza, and that's it. But now it's like, oh man, that's a lot of work, dude.
Yeah. A little more about it. I mean, it comes
They say like, what was it? The saying is that it goes through 100 hands from farmer to
I
here.
think you mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah. So they say 100 people have touched this coffee
Yeah.
from harvest to now. This seems crazy.
But if you grew your own, you really could do everything yourself, technically. You got like home roasters and stuff, right? Wouldn't be a matter of growing it, roasting it, and then...
Yeah, lots of people roast at home.
Yeah. But you can't recreate that climate even inside. Like, what's that called? Hydroponics or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But couldn't you control like the humidity and the temperature and everything inside? Probably wouldn't be cost effective, obviously. But
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I've never heard of somebody trying that.
yeah.
I don't think it'd be cost efficient.
I mean, it kind of comes down to like that whole subjective, objective thing. And I think you were telling me about the McDonald's thing last thing, where some people love McDonald's coffee because it's the same every time. But coffee experts, you wouldn't bet that any of them would prefer McDonald's coffee.
Probably not.
I wonder how much of it too is like your like emotional response. You know, I mean, some people probably have a lot of, they grew up smelling a certain kind of coffee that reminds them of certain experiences or memories.
Oh, definitely. I mean, there were people in the class, that barista course, that only drank just regular black drip coffee, like brewed coffee.
Yeah.
And that was it. And you put something like this in front of them, and it was that same expression every time. Oh, this is trash. But then you get the opposite from somebody who maybe has a more refined palate, or maybe a little bit more of a coffee snob.
Yeah.
But
What I wonder, almost like that drip coffee, the taste isn't as potent, but is it possible that you can taste things better if it doesn't feel like it's overkill, maybe. Like if you have a pizza and you throw on an exorbitant amount of like spices and peppers, so much that
Are you
it,
talking about overdoing your coffee with cream and sugar?
or even like this, like, you know, you're getting so much flavor, like it. And it's probably person to person. Like if I have a pizza with all kinds of super hot peppers, that's overpowering my palate, and it's not, my palate's not used to that or whatever. So I don't like. It's a completely probably different experience than someone who's used to that or built up kind of that experience.
I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, you have a different palate than somebody else,
Yeah.
so your experience is going to be different.
So I could get a macchiato every time, but I could ask for a different bean. And then the thought would be that... Actually, so wouldn't the most pure experience be just a plain espresso and try different beans with it? Because that would be the most potent thing.
Yeah.
That might be mine.
It's unadulterated, right? So you're just gonna taste the bean and that's it.
Yeah.
But there are people that kind of badmouth brewed coffee, just regular drip coffee, but you know, you could do the same thing with that.
Yeah.
You could just brew different beans and then do the same experiment and just taste different beans that way too. But it's,
so in a lot
I guess
of ways,
if you prefer more of a concentrated version over a more,
personal
I guess
preference.
a less concentrated version. Yeah. And I prefer the more concentrated version of it.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, to go back to wine a little bit too, is you have those people that can give you, you know, 50 descriptors for a wine, but at some level, don't you kind of just like know what tastes good to you? and part of that is because of what
you're
you've
gonna have
had
a
for
preference.
years and years.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna have a preference. So my preference of an espresso is more of like I think more of a lighter, fruitier version. With those notes. And then they have like more earthy vegetal notes and that come from certain regions, and I'm not a real big fan of that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just as an example, like it seems like a lot of Ethiopian beans are more like fruity, light, you know, maybe floral, and so I kind of prefer that. And then like I've had some from Sumatra they seem more vegetal, and I don't know if that's all of them or it's just the kind that I had.
Yeah.
But it seems like certain regions have certain flavor profiles associated with them.
Huh. So kind of like microbrews? Like if you're talking beer, or not so much?
The coffee?
Well, you go to like those microbreweries with beer, and is that more of an unadulterated taste? Because you're tasting like more of the hops and less of the processed, watered down
Maybe.
something.
Yeah. That's the thing from independent places. You might not have the consistency because they might not have the systems and processes set up like a larger organization would, you know? Like you go somewhere to a chain and that's their goal, right? Is to make the same cup of coffee over and over and over again. Just like you get Coors Light across the country, it's going to taste the exact same. Yeah. So, you know, you go to the independent coffee shops and it's obvious it's going to taste different from shop to shop.
Do you have people that just chew coffee beans?
I don't know. Probably just because I feel like people do everything these days. I don't know. I've not seen anybody that chew coffee beans.
Because that would be the purist, right? Off the plant.
Next episode, I'll bring in some beans. You can chew them up next time.
I'll try.
Deal. Did you look up any tidbits on coffee?
No, just a question. I wanted to ask you, what got you into it, what's like the height of it, and then, what's like the subjective versus objective kind of like in the community.
What do you like about coffee?
I think I like the effect. So there's that. I think I had to get used to the taste because I didn't grow up drinking coffee. My parents didn't drink coffee. And probably because of that, I probably resorted to some of the more,
sweetened versions.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was less intense or whatever.
Yeah.
Plus, you get the same kick from the sugar.
Yeah.
Or whatever it may be.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Huh. Cool.
I think I could do espresso, and then so you think they have a bunch of beans in there, and you can pick from them?
Yeah, what I think a lot of places, what they'll typically do is like they'll have a house blend that they'll use for like their standard espresso machine, but just like the other place we went to, they'll have different beans like in rotation, so they'll have like their standard blend for the espresso shop, but then they'll have like a Ethiopian or a Sumatran or.
And what's the idea behind doing a blend as opposed to a straight?
To try to keep it consistent, right?
Right.
So it's that.
But doesn't that almost like dumb down the whole taste thing a little bit?
I don't know, because you still need like to have an expectation from the consumer side, right? Like somebody goes somewhere and they know that if they just order a shot of espresso or a cappuccino, it's going to taste the same if they go on week 1 or week 52. Right. You know?
Yeah, but if they're going to a place that specializes in kind of like custom coffee, isn't it the kind of clientele you think that would want to experiment with different stuff or try different stuff?
Yeah, but not everybody, because I think a lot of people go to a coffee shop maybe for the environment too. Yeah. And so they want a standard cup of coffee, but they want also the environment if they're going to work or meet somebody or whatever.
I wonder if the uneducated coffee drinker like myself could even tell a difference.
Maybe not.
Between, one from this area or that area.
And I've noticed that I've not been able to. So I buy beans from a lot of different places right now because I'm just testing them out at home. But when I was taking the barista course, I feel like I had a better grasp on like what I was actually tasting.
Just because
I was
doing it all
like 3-4 days a week. Yeah. And now I'm at home, but it is also I had the feedback loop
as you were doing it.
Yeah. And so if I thought it tasted a certain way, at least I could bounce it off somebody who had the experience and knowledge to tell me if that was wrong or not, and maybe to hear what they were tasting, and then you can kind of put them together, and then finally you're refining your palate. And
it's interesting.
There's a lot.
I guess part of it is just asking yourself what you want to get out of the experience.
Yeah, people go to coffee shops for a lot of different things, I think.
Yeah.
And maybe for the person who is adventurous and wants to try different things, they can go, and that's why they have the rotating selection, and you can go and order something that's something different, maybe a little bit different than what you'd normally get.
What about like a sprinkle of cinnamon?
Yeah.
Is that common? I've heard of it. I've never tried it.
Yeah, isn't it a cone meal or a cafe meal? It's like
that's what that means.
Yeah, it's like I think it's a latte. It can be, maybe it can be done in a cappuccino, but it's I think it's cinnamon and honey. Is it miel honey in Spanish?
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I think it's cinnamon and honey, and they'll mix it up. But it's really good. And during the summer they do an ice version, and it's really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Are the like purists like ice snobs? Like put ice in your wine?
I don't know. I mean,
I guess it depends who you run into.
Yeah, if you're getting in, yeah, exactly. Everybody's gonna be different.
Huh? Are there competitions?
Oh
There's gotta be, right?
Yeah.
Are there tasting competitions?
Probably. I've heard of the latte art competitions, and I think those are really serious.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that they got competitions for everything. Yeah.
Well, good. I think that's helpful. I think I'm gonna stick with the espresso and then try the whole rainbow of flavors.
I think I'm gonna move on to the drip coffee and like cold brews and stuff. Yeah.
Very cool.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Till next time.
See ya.